today Reverend Hersey Hammons. He is a community leader, a pastor here in Guthrie, Oklahoma for over 31 years, I believe, here at this church at First Baptist.
It's over 31, yes.
Yes, okay.
30,
And so,
34 to be exact.
oh, okay, okay. So I just want to dig in a little bit of your history here
Sure.
in Guthrie, growing up and everything. So let's start with your childhood. Where were you born?
I was born in Oklahoma City, and I was raised on the corner of 13th and Missouri, right across from the new F.D. Moon High School, junior high school. And I was raised right there on that corner.
Oh, wow, okay. So, what brought y'all to Guthrie, Oklahoma?
What brought me to Guthrie, Oklahoma, I was called to come serve as the pastor of First Baptist Church, which I've had the opportunity to serve for better than 43 years now.
Okay. And so, so you didn't go to school here in Guthrie. Where did you go to school?
I'm a graduate of Douglas High School in Oklahoma City. Go Trojans.
Okay. Okay, I didn't know that. So that is cool. So, let's see. Tell us about your family, your family dynamic. Mother,
My mother was Gloria Hammons, and my father was Hersey Hammons. Both of them are deceased. I have 4 siblings, which 3 of them are still alive. And we grew up without a father because he died when I was 12 years old. And so I had to step into a role of not only big brother, but also as a father figure for my younger siblings. We were raised in the church. We didn't have a whole lot of social life back then. We had community on the 13th Street community where we learned how to survive.
Yes. Okay, okay. So, so as far as your siblings, and you help raise them, do you have any favorites?
I wouldn't say if I have any favorite. I really never thought about it. They all have been treated just like family,
Yes,
so to speak.
yes.
So I don't think I have a favorite, but my brothers and sister, which only have one left, we stay in constant communication with each other even today.
Okay. And so growing up in Oklahoma City, through school, did you do any sports?
I was a swimmer. My sports was non-contact. I did not like to get hit, and I did not like to get beat up.
Okay.
So I swam and ran track.
Oh, okay.
So those were my sports.
Okay, that's good. Okay. So I know that Oklahoma City has, I mean, especially with Douglas, are there any teachers that you remember?
In my Douglas High School?
Or even in elementary?
Yes. One of the teachers that I remember very vividly is Miss Cudjoe. She was young. She just graduated from college, and she came to Truman Elementary School, which I was in the 5th grade. She came to Truman Elementary School with a lot of energy and a lot of different types of dynamics as far as presentation of skits and programs and so forth. And to this day, she's still living, and we see each other, we reminisce, and I remember some of the songs that we sang back then. Ms. Cudjoe, and also here in Guthrie, the Sharp family, which Miss Salada Dawson was a Sharp, and so her sister was a teacher in my elementary school. When I went to junior high, Miss Salada Sloss was a very influential person in junior high. When I got to Douglas, her husband was my brick masonry teacher. So forging that relationship with her in junior high carried on even into high school, where they took me in as a son because my father died when I was 12. And so Miss Sloss and Mr. Sloss were very influential both in junior high and senior high school.
Okay, and so you received your brick masonry?
in Douglas High School. We were only
Okay.
school, black school in the state of Oklahoma that offered brick masonry because we had a vocational training department at Douglas High School. We were the only black school that had a full-size Olympic pool. So we would host regionals and state championships right there at Douglas High School.
Yeah, so did you win any medals?
No.
But you were a part
But
of the team.
I was on the team.
Yes.
Matter of fact, for my complete high school experience, I was the only diver that Douglas had. And I started swimming and diving for Douglas High School when I was in junior high. After I would get out of high school, junior high, I would walk over to Douglas and practice with swimming. And I was still in the 9th grade.
That's amazing. I did not know Douglas had all of that.
Yes.
That was really cool. And so, I know that you love to sing and you love music.
Really?
Yes, I
Oh.
caught that just a little bit. What is a song that gives you the nostalgia of your childhood?
And I sing today is I Know the Lord Will Make a Way Somehow. My mama used to sing that song. Yeah, and I sing it. But I remember my mom, she played the piano and she was a soprano. I didn't understand some of the songs that she was singing, and I finally figured it out later in life what moved her to play the piano and what moved her to sing. And I put it together, and usually when it was difficult times, when we had more a month than we had check, she didn't know how ends was going to meet. She would sing songs, the Lord will make a way somehow. And so I find myself doing the same thing.
Yes. And so, speaking of your mother, what was her occupation? What did she do?
She was a housewife.
Okay.
My mom married her fresh out of high school. My dad married her fresh out of high school. And all she had to do was look pretty and have food done when he got off of work. And she could do them both.
Yes.
And then when he died abruptly, just suddenly, it left her lost because she never had to work. And so Dad had carried me around to some of the places that he paid bills, showed me how to be a man, how to be responsible for your bills and so forth. And so I was able to help bridge that gap and help the family to carry on. Eventually, she got a job at a daycare at Wildwood Christian Church, and working as a daycare worker, child care. Yeah, but that didn't last long.
Okay. So let me see. So did you at Douglas? Did you go to prom?
Oh, let me tell you, we had what we call a carnation ball. And carnation ball preceded the prom. I didn't have a suit. I wanted to go to the carnation ball, but I didn't have a suit. And I didn't want to look bad. So I went downtown Oklahoma City, and I was looking through window shopping, we used to call it. And I saw this suit on this mannequin. And I went in the store and talked to the I don't know if he was the owner of it, just a worker. And he said, can I help you with? I said, I like that suit that's in the window. He said, well, how much money you got? I said, I don't have any money. So he took me back to the row that was discontinued, the cheap row, because the one in the window was out of my range. So he said, how much money you have? You showed me this suit. I said, I got $10. He said, you can't buy no suit with $10. He said, do you have a job? I said, yes, sir, I work. I was washing dishes at the Ramada Club on the weekends. And then my brick masonry teacher would carry me on the side jobs in construction, and I would make a little money there. And he said, well, how much money can you pay a week? And I said, well, I could pay $10 a week. He said, you can pay $10 a week. He said, where's your daddy? I said, my daddy's dead. He said, where's your mama? I said, she at home. She don't hardly get out. And he said, and you don't have nothing? I said, sorry. He said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you this suit for the $10 you got, and you promise me you'll pay me $10 a week. I said, yes, sir. And so the bottoms of the pants were unfinished, and the waist was a little big. So I took that suit home. I ran home. I said, Mom, I got a suit. You ain't got a suit, boy? And I showed her the suit. She said, where you get that suit from? I said, they let me have it downtown. Yeah, you ain't got that. I found me some safety pins, and I held my pants up, and I found me a belt, and I strapped my belt on, and that carnation ball, I danced a while.
It was yours.
We had what you call talent show at the Carnation Ball, and I entered the contest. Ask me what I sung.
What did you say?
I feel good.
Amen. Well, did you win that?
No.
Okay. But did you get the crowd going?
Oh yeah, we had a good
yeah.
time.
That
Yeah, we had a
sounds
good
like a
time.
great time.
And the ball, that was the Carnation Ball. But then came the prom, and since it was my 10th grade, I didn't have a car, so of course didn't have a date, so I just went. But my 11th grade, I had a car, I had a '57 Pontiac that didn't have a floorboard.
And did you have a date?
I had a date.
Did you have a date? Well, we're moving on up.
But it was nowhere for her to put her feet.
Oh, honey.
So we just met up at the prom.
Yeah.
Yes, her mama and daddy brought her and they picked her up, but I didn't have a car.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
The senior year I didn't go
You did, why not?
because I had to work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you attend college at all?
I went to Bacon College in Muskogee, Oklahoma, and then I went to Liberty College, as where I got my bachelor's of theology degree.
Oh, okay, okay, cool. So when did you start your family? When did you marry, have your children?
I started my family 52 years ago. And that's more, I could count on my fingers and toes. So
Yes.
so I married Catherine Emery,
Yes.
and we have 3 children together. Deandra Hammons, which is the oldest, and Hersey, which is named after me, and Isaiah. And so those are my 3 children that we have.
Yes. And do you have grandkids, great-grandkids?
I have 14 grandkids and 4 great-grandkids.
Oh. So the feeling of grandkids versus great-grandkids, what's that feeling like?
The feeling of great-grandkids is beyond the feeling you have with grandkids. When grandkids came along, I mean, I was a papa and loved every moment of it, still do. But them great-grands, it's just, they get to you a little bit different than the grandkids. So, and I'm enjoying them.
Yes, that's good. Alrighty, so we're going to talk about your early influences. Who are the most influential people in your early life? And what specific lessons, or not any specific, just any lessons, or examples did they provide that shaped your desire to serve?
Okay. My first would be my pastor, Pastor W.K. Jackson. I was raised at the St. John Baptist Church in Oklahoma City. And I admired him because of his leadership skills. He didn't just talk, but he stood up and he was instrumental in the garbage strike in Oklahoma City, the social movement to bring about equitable treatment to blacks in Oklahoma City. He was on the front line. He influenced me probably greater than anyone else. And then secondly, there was Clara Looper. I was one of the students that she drug around and carried around, and she influenced me to stand up and for what you believe in. Carried me to Boston, Massachusetts, to a national convention. We didn't know how to interact, and they was having a ball, and she said, "Y'all going to this ball? We're gonna get you some tickets." And so we was on the elevator. I said, "Miss Looper, we don't know how to dance." Yeah. She said, "Oh, yes, you do." I said, "No, we don't know how to dance." And so she said, "You stand in a spot and you rock from side to side." And she said, "If they ask you what you're doing, tell you you're doing the Oklahoma Shuffle."
Okay.
So she influenced me from that perspective as far as civil rights movement and so forth. Curly Sloss, which I mentioned earlier, was my brick masonry teacher. He showed me the qualities of manhood and providing for your family, working hard, sticking with a project, finishing a project. He taught me all of those. And then when I moved to Muskogee, I met a guy by the name of B.W. Noble. He pastored the Antioch Baptist Church, and I became his son in the ministry. And he taught me how to serve in the trenches, work with people where they are. Where they are is not where they need to be. So you have to get in there and help them to become what they know they want to become, but they don't have the skill or the ability to do it. So I'm somewhat of a in the trenches type of person. And so I also developed my cooking skills under him because he was a master chef. And learned a lot of cooking techniques. So, yes.
Okay. So you were influenced early to serve your community before even getting into ministry. So
Yes,
it's
I
kind
was.
of always been on you to
Right.
serve. Okay, that's good. So when did you go on ahead and become pastor?
I was called to serve as pastor at the Jerusalem Baptist Church in 1979 in Muskogee, Oklahoma. I served there for 2.5 years. And then I resigned from that ministry and became the assistant pastor at the Antioch Baptist Church under B.W. Noble. I served there 2.5 years before being called to come serve here at the First Baptist Church of Guthrie, Oklahoma.
And so, since you grew up in Oklahoma City, because I was going to direct these questions for you growing up in Guthrie, but when did you notice that you were black?
When did I when did I come to the realization I was black? Because a lot of people thought I was white. And so the realization that I was black is when a friend of mine, Morgan, and I went to a job. I'm a bricklayer. We went on the job. We was at the Union Hall, and they called and said, "We need bricklayers." We hurried out to Dale City. I probably would have got hired until they looked at him, because he was very dark. And they looked at both of us and said, "We already hired someone." That's when the realization that I was black.
And how did that make you feel?
I felt humiliated. I felt a sense of rejection. And I really didn't pay a lot of attention to racism then, because we grew up in a black community and we just did what we did. But when I entered into the workforce and saw what happened, it really made me feel bad. I became the first black bricklayer of Haynes Construction Company. When I went to apply for the job, they thought I was a laborer. I said, "No, I'm a bricklayer." And they said, the laborer that was there said, "We've never seen a black bricklayer before." So I became a union black bricklayer. So I was accepted. Let me say I wasn't accepted. I was tolerated, but never accepted.
So let's go into your salvation calling. Could you share a personal salvation testimony and how you received your call to ministry?
I grew up, like I said, in the church. But Dad died when I was 12. We drifted away, and the Nazarene Church from Bethany, Oklahoma, would send the bus through our community and pick up us little black kids.
The Southern Nazarene?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
In Bethany, Oklahoma. And of course, there was a lot of little pretty girls on the bus. So I got on the bus too. And I'll just tell you like it is. And so we would ride that bus to Bethany, Oklahoma. It would be day when they pick us up, but it would be night coming back. Okay. And you know what happens at night? Yes. On the bus. So one day I decided I was going to join that church because, you know, we got attached. The Holy Spirit said, "What about your home church?" My dad took us, and I grew up in Sunday school. I really accepted Jesus Christ as my Savior while I was a child. And so I never forget that experience. I was sitting in the balcony, and the preacher had preached, and he extended the invitation. Next thing you know, I'm in front of the church crying. I don't know why I'm crying. He said, "Why are you crying?" I don't know. You love Jesus? Yes, I love Jesus. You want to be saved? Yes, I do. And, you know, so forth. And I remember that. But then we drifted away. And so when the Spirit said, "What about your home church?" I came back to St. John and reactivated my membership. And I'm still a member of that church even today.
Yes. Okay.
And then my calling came, 2 portions. There was a brick wall on 8th between Bath and Kate. And it was a brick wall. I had a vision that I was working on that wall. Now the wall is already there, but I had a vision that I was working on that wall. About a month later, my brick mason teacher said, "I got a job we're going to be doing." Someone had run into the wall. And we had to repair the wall, tear it down and redo it. And I told him, I said, "I saw us working on this wall about a month ago." He said, "You?" I said, "Yeah, I saw this. I saw it." He said, "Something special about you." That's when I realized that the Lord had a calling on my life. We took a job in Dodge City, Kansas. I was working with King Construction Company, and we took a job in Dodge City, Kansas. So it's always been mine to go to church on Wednesday nights. So at Wednesday night, I put on my little glad rags, and I went through the community trying to find a church, and I found one church that had lights on. And there was 2 cars that was parked in front of the church. So I got out, went in, and there was 4 people in there. And I sat in the back, close to the back. And they kept looking around, trying to see who this guy done come in there. And I sensed that they were uncomfortable. And I said, "I love the Lord, he heard my cry." They said, "He's all right."
Yeah.
So after the service, the prayer meeting was over, they invited me to come. It was the deacon and his girlfriend and the pastor and his wife. So the deacon and the pastor and I, we all was in the pastor's office. And so I said, "You know, what this town needs is a revival, man. It needs a revival." And the pastor, "Yeah, we sure do need a revival." I said, "All these people that come by our job, you know, construction guys generally don't have very good morals, just period, you know. We don't." And so I've been seeing the girls, the women come by and all this stuff. So I said, "We need a revival." And he said, "Yeah." And the deacon said, "Yeah, we sure do." And so the pastor said, "Well, I'd like to have a revival, but I don't know who I could get to do it." Before I knew it, I said, "I'll do it." Yeah. He said, "You a preacher?" I said, I'll get somebody to do it. I know somebody could do it." So all that week, that bothered me, that I had said I would be a preacher for a revival. So that weekend we went home, and I went by to talk to my pastor to let him know that I felt the calling on my life to preach the gospel. And I told him, he said, back he riding his seat, he started laughing. I'm like, this is serious, man. You up there laughing? He said, I've just been waiting on you to come through that door.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
About how old were you?
I was probably 20 years old.
Oh, young man.
Yes.
Very young man. Yeah.
I graduated from high school 16, and I worked construction there on up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. So, so coming from Oklahoma City, where you had a black community, and you got called to Guthrie, Oklahoma, how was that transition to come down here at the beginning?
Well, I left Oklahoma City, went to Muskogee, and I left Muskogee and come to here. I love Muskogee. It's an outdoor sportsman's paradise. Fishing, hunting, any direction you went, and that's what I like to do. And I was called to Guthrie. I came to Guthrie. It's the smallest place I've ever been in my life. And I came here and was told, you won't be here long. In fact, there was a lady that worked that was a nurse out to the hospital named Romaine. She said, you ain't gonna be here long. I said, why? She said, you just passing through. I said, okay. So I thought about it. You know, in my theme song, they say the lights were always bright on Broadway. I was headed for Broadway. And it wasn't here in Guthrie. Yeah. So people kept saying, you know, you're going to a bigger church. You're going to a bigger church. You're not going to be in Guthrie. You're going to be doing. And I got to thinking, I said, if I'm not willing to make what I have big, I don't deserve anything bigger. And so I began to focus more on Guthrie, becoming more involved in the community and with members. And it has developed into what it is today.
Yes. And so when you first came to Guthrie, to preach, how did you get your members?
Well, First Baptist was one of the, as far as leading churches in the black community. We had a lot of older congregation, was a lot of older members. And so those first 12, 15 years, it was the older members that were carrying it. But my heart was looking toward these younger people that were coming, but they were not active, and trying to get them active and so forth. Because young people draw young people. And we were not drawing any young people because the older folk had it nailed down, okay? So I had to be patient, trust the Lord, and just wait on his timing. And so eventually, over time, younger people start stepping forward, and younger people start seeing there's an opportunity to serve in the church. And so one by one, we would take in a member here or there. So, but that's how that transpired. Now, right now, there's a totally different church than it was when I got here. Because out of that original group, there's probably only 4 that's left.
Wow.
All the rest of them are gone, deceased.
Alrighty. And so, being in Guthrie, being a preacher, setting out to start helping in the community, how was that received with the social environment of Guthrie at that time?
Well, the social atmosphere in Guthrie at that time, both in the spiritual, we might say, church, as well as the non-church, was somewhat clannish. You stay with your folk and you stay with your folk. Even in the black community, there was not a lot of acting with one another. The Baptist stayed over here, the Church of God in Christ was over here, the Church of Living God, the Methodists, and so forth. And so, me being a community person, I had to figure out how we going to do something and we can't get together. So the Lord gave me the taste and tell. And folk looked at me and said, what is that? I said, I don't know, but the Lord gave it to me. And we started a community party, picnic, celebration, where your church, whatever you were, we come together during Black History Month, put our food together and have a program and so forth. That's one of the things that broke the ice in our being even segregated in our own community. Then on the social with the other side, I became the first Black president of the Guthrie Ministerial Alliance because I was willing to interact with them, even though some of them were not willing to interact with us. But I've never allowed what other folk think for me to determine what I was going to do. And so after serving a few years, they asked me, would you run for president? I said, I ain't running for nothing. They said, well, can we appoint you? I said, well, you can appoint me. So I became the president. I was the first president to serve 2 consecutive terms, and so back to back. And so that kind of bridged the gap there between whites and Black. And I had to stand before them and let them know that what we do in the Black community is not a Black thing. It's a people thing. What you all do in your community is not a white thing. It's a people thing. So we should be willing to support each other in what we're doing. And so when we started having the Martin Luther King parade and so forth, we started out, wasn't any whites there. But over the time, my white brothers, and they began to join us because they got to see, well, what Hersey and his group are doing, it's not just for Blacks, it's for everybody. And so, and now the taste and tell, you almost have to look hard to see us because they come right. So that's kind of the thing of being involved. If you can't join them at the table where decisions are made, then your influence is no good.
So what do you think was holding our people back from, well, the Guthrie Black people, leaders, holding them back from trying to integrate with others or reaching out?
That's a good question, because what I saw years ago, we have our own prejudice. We have our own prejudice. Even some of our pastors say, I can't get involved for what they did to us years ago. I said, when we're going to live what we preach? So the second thing is, not on prejudice, is this inferiority complex. We think they know it all, but I come to find out they don't know no more than we know. Matter of fact, the reason I served as president of 2 consecutive terms, because I had organization that I learned from St. John Baptist Church and Antioch Baptist Church. I brought those skills with me, and they like, wow, he's really organized. And when in our churches, we teach our kids how to stand up before people, how to keep minutes, how to balance things. We teach them that, but we don't realize they don't know no more than we know. So this inferiority complex that we have to get over.
Okay, yes. And so, what is your preaching style? How would you describe your preaching style?
Direct and interacting.
And can you describe the process of preparing for a sermon each week?
Preparing for a sermon involves spending time with God. It's a challenge for me because I'm so involved in the community to make sure that I designate time to spend with God, to hear what he's trying to say to his church. Sometimes it takes perhaps 20 to 25 hours just to develop a sermon. Now, just think when you're busy, you got a job, or just think you're busy doing this, interacting with people socially, funerals, weddings, meetings, and all this kind of stuff, and then trying to spend time with God. It's a big challenge. Yeah. But I've learned early on, if you don't spend time with God through the week, he's not going to be with you on Sunday morning. So I spend time. And then resources. The world is my resource center. So I'm always looking for what God is saying through this arena. Where I'm over, what's he saying? What did he give me over here? And so I try to take what he shows me through that and make illustrations out of it, so that illustrations are windows that people look into your sermon and be able to relate to what you're trying to say.
Good.
So I may have some illustrations there that folks like, where did he get that from? Like the brown bow-legged bulldog.
Yes. But it was a good story. Great story. Yeah. Stay persistent. So what is your vision for the church?
My vision for the church is that that our witness will be strengthened even more in this community through our involvement. Through our involvement. I went to a meeting probably 25, maybe 30 years ago, and the facilitator said, if your church ceased to exist in the community that it lives, will it be missed? And I got to thinking about that, because all we were doing was raising money to keep the lights on and pay the preacher and the janitor and the musician. Wasn't doing anything else. So if we cease to exist, nobody would even miss us. And we began a campaign of investing in the community. So even today, my vision is to become more visible in the community and making Guthrie a better place to live.
Yes, yes.
The second part of that is to see people's lives strengthened, maturing in God. It's not just have church on Sunday, go home, and we'll come back next week. But being involved, how do we grow? How do we mature in the Lord? A lot of people get saved, but they never grow. They never mature.
Yes.
And so preaching is what brings a person out of the world. Teaching is what brings the world out of the person. So if there's no teaching, the world stays there.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's my vision. And you see me say this, as you say it in every sermon, is to become more like him and less like ourselves.
Amen. Yes. And so what I noticed, even not just in this church, but a couple of other ones, the congregation seems to look like a lot of women and not a lot of men.
Sure, exactly.
Do you have any thoughts of why that?
I think if I had that, I could probably package it and get rich.
Yes.
But what I see a lot is, especially here in Guthrie, is our men have a misconception of what it means to be a man. Being a man to some is sitting there hanging out with the crowd, the guys, talking football, sports, whatever else comes up, passing the bottle. That's being a man. Being a man is much more than that. So trying to interact with our men is a challenge. It's a challenge. If the preacher is popular, then they have a negative attitude toward him because of his popularity. And that's been a challenge. And I am a popular preacher. I don't make no apologies of it. I do what I do because I believe in doing what's necessary to get the job done. But sometimes I realize, here's this old boy there, he can't even pronounce his name right, how do I make him feel? So sometimes instead of getting involved and trying to better themselves, they tend to be distant and continue the same old path. So this misconception of what a man really is, I think I deal with that. We have a few, but Lord knows the church really needs more men. And trying to make a man feel comfortable in the church is a challenge, because if that man come to church, he get beat up at church, he get beat up at home. He said, hell, why would I go to church? I get beat up at church. So I get beat up at home. I can stay at home and get beat up. So, it's a lot of things that goes along with that. But I think it's the concept and the misconception of what a man really is.
Do you think there's any spiritual barriers with men and God, like just even, like, Like laying it all down, saying, I love you, Jesus, I'm in love with you.
Yeah,
Do you think there's
that's that
something
misconception. A man saying, I'm not supposed to cry, I'm not supposed to be, I'm going to tell, I love you. No, no, that's that misconception. So it affects us spiritually because we can't lay down our ego in order to embrace humility. And that's what it takes. You got to be, humility is a key aspect of developing your spiritual life. Can't act like I'm, Superman or, John Wayne.
Yeah. And so, what practical strategies would you implement to foster spiritual growth and discipleship?
Teaching. Teaching. We teach a lot here at the church. We teach teaching. Teaching, throughout the Bible, we're given instructions to teach, to learn. Come unto me, all ye that are heavy laden, and I'll give you rest, and take my yoke upon you and learn. Sometimes we don't get to that part, learn. Teaching, the definition is causing a person to know. Causing a person to know. I had a whole bunch of educators here, and I would get in debates with them and say, you ain't taught unless you cause a person to know. Where'd you get that definition? I say, go look it up. They went to college, got degrees and everything, but never could describe what teaching is. Teaching is causing a person to know. So our aim here at First Baptist is to cause people to know what thus said the Lord, not a philosophy, not an ideology, but really what thus says the Lord. So we are engaged on Wednesdays, on Sunday mornings. We have institutes teaching institutes. And whenever I preach, I teach. So, trying to teach. Yeah. But teaching, I think, is my goal, is our goal, is to causing people to know.
So, and then we're going to creep back up real quick. So, small churches often resist change. When you moved down here to Guthrie, can you give me just a time where you were implementing a change and the members gave you a little push?
A whole bunch of them. A whole bunch. Our PA system went out. I had a friend of mine, A. Glenn Woodbury, did a meeting here. And we had speakers on the wall, little box speakers. He looked around there and he laughed. I didn't know what he was laughing at. Before he finished, he blew every last one of them speakers out. I had a trustee was trying to figure out the little, we used to have the little power box in the pulpit. He was reaching and twisting and carrying on, trying to, it blew it up. It was time to get a new PA system. Can we fix this? No. We getting another. We can't get another one. And so we were going to get a new system. But I did not have the backing of the powers that be. But the Lord made a way. And we were able to get state-of-the-art equipment to put in a decent type of sound system. When computers came, people were getting computers. Oh Lord, no, don't nobody know how to run no computer. Yeah. So I made a pact with our trustees. If we get the computer, I will learn the computer. You don't know nothing about no computer. I said, I don't. I said, but if we get it, I'll learn it. I am now bona fide, qualified tech. I know my way around, software and hardware, because of that challenge. And it was slow. And so we got in on the bare minimum of a computer and was able to escalate from there. But it was hard. And then, all your changes. And one of the things that our smaller churches face in accepting change costs money. Change costs money. And a lot of times, a lot of our smaller churches are just doing enough just to keep the lights on. It's not because some of them don't want to change. It's just a cost. You're going to robe your choir. It costs money. You're going to dress your ushers. It costs money. You're going to send your kids to a retreat. It costs money. All these things, it costs money. And some of our smaller churches just don't have the funds. Well, let me say this. They won't commit themselves to the funds. You'd be surprised how much some of these folk got at home. I've had some resistance, but God makes a way. As I said in my sermon today, God makes a way. He grants us what we need, and he'll come through.
Yes. Okay, so stress and burnout. Pastoral ministry is very demanding. What are the intentional steps you take to prevent burnout? And what do you do for fun and relaxation that is not related to ministry?
Pastoring rather, is the second highest stress job in the United States. Pastoring. It stands to reason so many get burned out and walks away from the ministry. How do I handle this stress load? I read a book probably 25 years ago that talked about the art of balancing stress with recreation. I put it to practice. So you may see me riding my bicycle, and I love fishing. Yeah, matter of fact, I hold the record for Sooner Lake on the largest striper that's harvested there. Yeah. At one time it was the second largest in the state of Oklahoma. But I like recreation. I like riding my bike. I like hiking. I like walking and so forth. So every morning I walk. I do. Matter of fact, I've just completed yesterday 200 days, consecutive days of reaching my goal. 200 days. So balancing with recreation.
What's your daily goal?
My daily goal is 5,000 steps a day. That's a little over 2 miles a day. A day. My average now is 9,887. I looked at it this morning. That's what I do average a day. But my goal is 5,000. I was doing 10,000, but it was stressing me out because I kept saying, I got to get this. So I lowered my goal, but now my average is 9,887 per day. So I do this sometimes 6 days a week. And so that's how I balance it, recreation. I like hanging out with the kids, I like going to amusement parks and riding rides and all this kind of stuff. So that kind of keeps me up going. Yeah, so that's how I balance mine.
Quite spunky and full of energy, yes, sir. So, that one, but, so, well, what do you feel like the social climate in Guthrie is today compared to when you first got it?
It's much better. We've seen improvements. We can work together on projects, and this is proven by when we have the Juneteenth celebration, when we have the Dr. Martin Luther King celebration, we have the Taste and Tell celebration. All these things here help to make Guthrie attractive to other people. And to know that you and I have been a part of these changes helps to see a better social climate that we're seeing. We can find things that we can work together. So we still have to deal with the apathy of our people. We still have to deal with the segregation of people. We still have to deal with that, but I think overall there has been much gain. And I try to protect that gain, especially here lately. It's been a challenge because there's this undercurrent to turn back the hands of time. And, for us to lose the ground that we have gained would be so much of a disadvantage for our community. So I've tried to protect it. So I've tried to keep involved, try to get folk involved. This coming week, Wednesday's Domestic Violence Awareness, having that at the First Presbyterian Church. We're involved with them. You see those purple flags out there. We help to put those out. It costs money, so we're having a free dinner at 5 o'clock. We help support that. So getting involved is a key. I wish we had more of our churches to get involved because it would take the load off of us. But hey, I'm doing what I got to do.
Yes. And so, because I did say, and I thought that I stepped out of bounds saying this, but I was like, I don't feel like the churches in Guthrie are doing much.
We could do more. We could do more. We'd like to put this in is that whenever we have that Martin Luther King celebration, it takes money. We may have a budget of $2,500. If it wasn't for the churches in this community helping me raise that money, we would fell on our face. I called the pastor and said, I need you to send me some money. And they send the money. And I appreciate that when we have the reception.
Yeah.
The reception sometimes is $2,000.
Yes.
But they help me and raise the money. So I got to give it to my brothers and sisters. They come through when I need them. Okay. But we can do more.
Well, yes, okay. So, yes. And then, so we're going to wrap this up. So your legacy. When you look back at your work, what is the one key impact or change you hope the community will remember about you?
Is that he was persistent in what he was doing to bring about change in the community. It wasn't about just changing the church. It was about changing the community. My theme song when I came here to First Baptist 34 years ago. Was it? Yeah, whatever it was. I came here. It was, it's 43 years ago. Yeah, 43 years ago. Yeah, 43 years ago. It was, if I can help somebody as I travel along, if I can cheer somebody with a word or a song, if I could show somebody his traveling wrong, then my living shall not be in vain. That has been my theme song. That's what I live by.
Man. Reverend Hammons, I greatly appreciate you sitting down with me, giving us this and trusting us with your story. And yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, we're all done.